זה נראה לכם תמונות, כי אנחנו בטוח זה חזק. זה חזק מאוד. לא, אני פה באמצע גם פגישה אחרת. כן, צריכה להיכנס. Good evening. In a moment, Sarah will come inside also.
Good evening, Rabbi. How are you today?
Yeah, fine, thank you. I'm fine, thank you. I'm in the middle of a meeting, so I'm going out. Sarah is going to be the host, and I will try to come back again later on.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thanks.
We're sorry we couldn't make last week. It sort of ran away with us.
With life. It's good to see you, though. I missed you last time, but I'm glad you're with us this time. Okay, we're just gonna check with you that I can share screen according to the plan of today. I will just put this on, and you can tell me if you see what. Yes, do you see what I see, or do you see like an orange opening?
Yes.
We now have, Shimarad Hallason adding good.
Yes, that's wonderful. Thank you. So I'm going to stop share for a minute. I just wanted to know that I'm on the right place. Okay. How have you been doing? How is Shmirat HaLashon treating you, the daily life? Do you find points during the day that you like, oops, that was a no, that was not a good place to be for the moment, or anything like that?
Well, sometimes, but we're in lockdown again at the moment, so we're not seeing anybody. We literally just go shopping and that's about it, and see people on Zoom. So next week will be different. We're out of lockdown next week.
Okay. The simple things of life turn into be very, very special and unique. Just walking on the roads and going outside.
Oof.
Oh yes, we cycle. We like to get our bikes out and go for a cycle.
That's lovely. That's wonderful. Where do you live?
We're in Wakefield in Yorkshire, in England.
Wow. Yorkshire. Where's that in comparison? Excuse me?
Think of Leeds. You know Leeds?
I've heard of Leeds. I've been in
Manchester.
London,
Manchester?
and in Brighton, but Manchester. I've heard of all those places because of the football teams.
Okay, well, we're about, 70, 80 miles
From Manchester.
across to the east from Manchester, and about 250 miles north of London.
That's lovely. Wow. And
cold.
how did you, may I ask you how you got to the Noah Heights?
Right.
Oh, that's a long story.
Have you got 30 years to wait?
And there are going to be other people coming in, but this is like, wow, so interesting.
We've been semi-practicing since about 1983. And not knowing where to go, we've tried to stick to as many basics that we understood and could find out for ourselves. But over the last 10 years, it's just got so much easier that we've realized where we slot into everything. We found our place, we found our little home, and we're very comfortable. We are discussing conversion. We think we might want to go a step further.
Oh my goodness, that's a big deal.
Yeah, we're still discussing it. We haven't, but Sinai Synagogue over in Leeds, and the rabbi there, he's wanting us to do security check now before they can welcome people in, because they have to be so cautious and careful. So that's where we are at the moment. So, and that will lead us to be able to go and discuss things and see where we are. But hopefully just to attend shul, so we can attend a few Shabbat services would be very nice.
Wow. I was in the States, the United States for 2 years, and I was in touch with a few people trying to help them go through conversion. And some of them did not convert at the end. Some of them did, and some of them got married, and we actually helped them with the procedure. It was very, very special. I'm honored to know people like you, because it is, for me, I was born into a world of no other situation, right? So my voyage is very different than yours, and it's quite admirable. I would like to greet Hans to our lesson today. Hello, are you with us? I just admitted his presence, but I don't know if he's in with us. Okay, and Timothy is with us as well. Went home in a minute.
Now, one of the problems we had in the meantime between 1983 and everything.
I'm sorry, excuse me, my daughter was there.
No, but from 1986, I actually went overseas to work. And I worked in a Muslim country for 30 years, which was rather difficult to do anything. But it was one of the few countries which Israel actually visited. The Israeli Prime Minister was there a couple of times to meet His Majesty, the late Caboose, in Oman.
Interesting.
It was very, because we didn't find out until after the Prime Minister had been and left. It was something kept very quiet.
Understandable. Yeah.
Yes.
It's lovely.
But they were Ibadi Muslim, which is a different sect again. And they were more liberal and tolerant.
Very interesting.
So you can imagine when you take a load of things into the country, because we moved house completely, and the man from customs is looking through your boxes of stuff, and he's finding things which he shouldn't find in an Arabic country, and eventually puts them away, and then goes looking for his gun because he's lost that, and finds a gun in my box. It's his gun which is dropped there.
Oh my goodness, adventures.
It was good fun. But
okay, thank you for that. I would like to greet everyone and say hello to Peter and to Timothy and to Hans, and thank you for joining us today.
Hello there. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm gonna have to leave a little bit early again.
Okay, thank you for letting me know in advance, and I appreciate any time that you can be with us. It's wonderful to have you with here today.
Thank you.
Okay, and we have Abraham here with us as well. Welcome to our class today.
Shalom,
You all. Shalom, everyone. I am about to start the lesson for today, and I, as usual, start with share screen. And we are back to Shmirat HaLashon, the guarding of our speech and of our tongue. And we mentioned in the beginning, in the first class that we had, that Shmirat HaLashon has two aspects to it. We have the aspect of guarding. Shmirah, as we say, is shamar, the three letters shin, mem, resh, shama, and ra, represent a guarding act as a guard of the king. And another meaning of the word shamar is to care for. Okay, so caring and guarding. So caring, like a mom would care for her child, she adds good. It's not only that she keeps him out of trouble, but that she nurses him and gives him and takes care of him in a good way, adds good. So until today, we actually met quite a few situations and different things that we studied throughout the course that we had about how to keep away, how to avoid. And we will touch that a little bit more today as well. And I know there might be people who feel, or maybe there aren't, but who feel like we've learned that already. But repetition is one of these things that is very necessary for Shmirat HaLashon. Personally, I have this book next to me and I study every day. I study two short, it's called halachot, but they're rules, two small rules every day, not the same ones. I just keep on going through the book, and when I'm done, I start over And when I'm done, I start over so that the awareness of guarding the tongue is always up over here. It's always reminding me. It's always in my daily routines and daily life. And I said it in the beginning, but I start, not me only, but people who go through this and study this all the time have unseen thorns growing out their ears when they hear things that aren't supposed to be heard, or they feel uncomfortable a second before or second after they said something, hopefully before they say it, but like, oops, that was a no-no, or ouch, maybe I shouldn't believe that. So it turns into who you are. And it's very important to repeat this, not only to learn it once, which is nice, but to keep on repeating it and going over it again and again. And many times there are new situations that come into life. And it's interesting to see how these bases or what is it? Principles, the principles apply to many, many, many situations that come and go, but we can apply these basics points into our daily life as we go along in life. So today I would like to actually speak about adding good, and we will go on to the next slide. So I brought two words, two kind words, two good words that have different meanings to them. We're speaking about benefaction. Is there such a word in English?
Yes. Yeah.
And charity. And I would be very grateful if you could explain to me what those mean, the way you understand what they mean.
Benefaction would be sort of like the purpose of, or the sort of advantage of, what happens if you do something, an outcome. I would say it would be an outcome.
Yeah.
So maybe over here I have chosen the wrong word. This is not what I meant. This is my problem. This is my translate, which meant on the wrong word. It's doing good deeds, like being kind to someone.
Well, that would be yeah.
What would that be? Would that be benefaction?
Yeah. Yes.
Beneficial.
It's not necessarily what's the outcome, it's the act itself.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, so that's what I meant.
Near enough.
Actions,
yeah.
Kind and good actions.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was thinking of a benefactor would be a person who does good things to somebody, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first term.
It would still be an outcome.
What do you mean by that? That it would still be an outcome?
It's exactly what Peter was saying.
It's not only the person. No, I'm sorry. It's not the action. It's what comes from the action.
It's what comes from the action.
But the action itself, what would that be called? Good deeds?
Yes.
Probably, I would say yes to, yeah.
Okay, so let's take the word benefaction and change it. I'm not going to change it on right now, but the good deeds, okay, not the benefaction, but the good deeds themselves. And in contrast, let's put them for a minute as a contrast to charity. What would charity mean?
Yeah. Oh, my sister's name is Charity. And,
oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was, charity to me means like giving to others type of thing. And normally it's monetary, but yeah.
Okay. Is there any other definition or another to widen the definition of giving something to somebody? Voluntarily?
Kindness could be charity. Kindness. It doesn't have to be a monetary thing. It could be a sort of a like kindness or time or understanding, even giving something.
Oh, okay. So how would you differentiate the word when you only want to give money, okay, to, let's say, to a hospital or to a library or a person who's standing on the corner of the road asking for money? What is the action of giving
A
him
donation. Donation.
donation. Okay, so let's use the word donation. Okay.
Okay.
So in the Torah, we have the rule is that every person has to give a donation of his earnings. Every person, whether he's rich, whether he's medium, or whether he's poor, something has to come from him, from his money, to give to others. Even if it's only 1 cent or 2 cents or 10 cents or a penny or whatever it is, we have to give from what we get to others. Okay. And the word donation, I would like to put specifically to money in this case. Okay. I could understand that a person is charitable. He's a kind person. He's a giving person. But I want to talk about the money aspect at the moment. And on the other side, put the charity, so to say, or the good deeds that come in different types and different realms, not necessarily, not money. Okay.
Yeah.
But not through money. And I would like to compare between both of them. So I would like to talk about the things that are, let's start from the right-hand side, the charity. Okay, let's say the donation. I'm sorry for the wrong concepts that I put up there,
Right.
my English. Okay. So first of all, donations, what is special about them? That they only come from money. Okay, it has to do with money. It could be stocks. It could be, I guess, possessions, but it would be something that has a money worth to it, a value, a physical money value to it, okay? And benefaction, okay, so what we're doing is the good deeds. So charity is special in the fact, or donations are special in the fact that they're done with money. On the other hand, when we compare them to good deeds, other good deeds, they could be done with money or other elements as well. Okay, not only with money. When we do good actions, they don't always have to come with relation to money, right? Do we agree on that?
Yeah.
Just give examples of both. Could you give me an example of a charity, of a donation, and an example of a benefaction? I'm with these words. What's going to be with me? The good deed things. Just an example from here, from daily life, and an example from the other side.
Yeah.
So for for charity, which is donation now, it'd be monetary, as you said, probably monetary, if at all. And then for benefaction, good deeds, that's like even like smiling to somebody or something. It can be very small, but yeah.
Very good. Very good example. Like smiling. Smiling could be a very big deal for someone who comes in to work after being shouted at, wherever he was, and you come inside to your office or to your school, and someone greets you with a good morning. How are you? That's a wonderful charitable action. It's a good action. It's very appreciated. Sometimes we don't even know how much. And money. Could you give me a specific example, maybe from somebody's life who would like to give an example of a certain type of donation that we meet on a daily basis? Any other?
Yeah.
I can give an example.
Please.
Here in New York, every year, collection of food for poor people. So we put canned goods, like can of beans, in the mailbox. And the mailman collects that. They take him to a collection place. And also in the winter, we give coats. There's a big truck goes around. Everybody donates their coats for the poor people. So those are what we consider donation or charity.
Interesting.
Charity can be specific.
Yeah.
Interesting. Because you brought two examples that are definitely worth money. For sure, for people who have no means to get that for themselves, yet it goes a little beyond the money, right? It's already something more than that.
It's like you get the charity donation where you give your money in the street. Recently, we've had the remembrance, and you give for the wounded, for the people who have been affected by wars, etc.
Mm.
And you have, as you said, the collection point for the coats, but you also have on the benefaction side of it, where you have the soup kitchens and things like that, where you can actually go out and you give your time to help for no monetary reward or anything else, just your time to help someone else.
That's a very good differentiation. Thank you. That is very good. Okay. So in this case, if we have on the charity or on the donation part, we have money. But on the other hand, if we're doing a good act, we can do it both with money or any equivalent and with other things as well. Okay, so not only money, but money and other things. So even a person who has no money can do acts of kind acts and can be extremely charitable or kind or helpful or good, right? So it's not only a money issue. Okay. The next realm that I would like to discuss is that charity or donations can only be given to people who are alive. As they say, you shall come to this world with nothing and you shall leave with nothing.
Mm.
We have no need in any possession whatsoever once we're gone from this world. Therefore, if we can help with our money, it is only to people who are alive, like I am. But on the other hand, good deeds could be done to the live and to the dead as well. In what way can we do a charitable act towards the dead?
I have one.
Go right ahead.
I haven't done it before, but I heard visiting graves and like putting flowers or cleaning up somebody's grave.
In what way are you doing a good act? He's dead. He doesn't see this.
Well, you're carrying the memory of that person.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're giving him respect. What other action of respect do we give the dead besides visiting their grave itself after they're down under?
We can make a donation in memory of that person.
Wow. I didn't even think of that. Thank you for that, Lara. That is very, very correct. Thank you. They say that a person learns from everybody, but the most he learns from his students. And I appreciate that. Thank you very much. How about when a person passes away? What do we do?
You go and you honor them, you pray for them, and you honor their memory, and you remember what their life has been like and how they have acted. And if they have acted in an exemplary fashion, you attempt to do the same yourself.
So you're using them as a good example, or
Yes,
you're
very much.
remembering. Very good. But how about the action of death? Okay, person at that moment passes away. What do you do with this person?
You could help and fund the what would you call it? Not a celebration of their life, maybe, and sort of help in the family of that person.
Are you helping the person? I always interfere. Excuse me, this is very Israeli. We stop people while they're talking. We don't care if they're talking or if I'm
That's
talking.
all right. No, carry on.
Point to each other's conversations. That's very rude of me. I'm sorry.
No. You're all right. You carry on. You to help the family in kindness and maybe sorting out paperwork and just being generally useful to the family of the person that's passed on.
But then who are you beneficial? Who are you acting kindly towards? The dead or towards the live?
You're adding sympathy, aren't you? You're sort of bringing sympathy for the dead person. And you're using, I don't know, you're sort of, you're helping the people that are alive.
Right. Correct. You're helping the live people. They're the ones who are appreciating your acts.
Yes.
And they can reward you when the day comes and help maybe you in a different way. Maybe,
yes.
Right. But who cannot give you back? The dead cannot give you back once you do something for them, right? In what way could a dead person help you?
But
So I think, yes, please.
But the dead person also needs to be put somewhere. And if there is no money, the people need to come together and they need to make sure that that person is put somewhere in a grave. Yeah, that is acceptable.
Perfect.
And-
Thank you. Thank you. That was the bingo. All of your answers were good. The one I had in mind to tell you was exactly what Angelica said right now. Burying a person gives you nothing. You get absolutely nothing out of it, especially if he has no family, where nobody appreciates what you're doing, right? Because if you visit the family of the dead people, you will benefit. They will say you were a kind person, you were nice. Maybe they'll come visit you. Maybe they'll have a way of rewarding you for what you did. But the dead person himself, when you do him a favor, you're doing it to him. You're not doing it for anyone else. You're doing it for this dead person's sake, for the sake of mankind, of acting kind towards people. So if I'm comparing donations to good deeds, donations would be done to live people, and good deeds would be done to live people and to dead people. Okay, so
I have a question.
Yes, please.
I have a question. So the body tell me if I'm wrong or not. The body, even though it's dead, the body is holy. Yes?
Are you asking me? Yes.
Yeah. I'm
Yes.
asking.
It has, I don't know if I could use the word holy, but I would use the word that we used last lesson. We said that God created us in his image.
Yeah.
And being created in God's image, I don't know if the tiger was or the gorilla was created in God's image, but man was. So
Yeah.
God gave the human body a different level of creation. And we respect that and we act accordingly. Okay. I know that in Judaism, we don't cremate bodies.
No.
I don't know if it's disrespect. I don't know what other cultures do. I don't know if you educate to take care of the body differently. I just know what we do. Okay. I'm not coming in any way to criticize anybody whatsoever. I have no right to do that. I just know what I'm expected as a Jewish person. We bury the person in the ground where he comes from. God made man from the ground, and that's where he is supposed to be at the end of his life. Did that answer the question?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So I am trying to build an understanding that benefaction, what I wrote here, are the good deeds have another plus to them, more than charity, more than donations, so to say. Okay, because you would say that donations is also a charitable act or a kind act, but there's a difference there. I want to make it more clear so that we understand where I'm aiming at. So the third difference between donations and kind actions would be that donations would be given to the third thing on the list is poor, to the poor people, to the needy people, to anyone who is in a position that he is in a minus. Okay, that your giving would be something to bring him back to the plus. While good deeds could be done not only to those types of people, not to the poor people physical. He could be a very rich person in a very bad mood. And Timothy, you could come into the room and shine a smile to him, and that would be something very appreciative and very, very good of you to do that. And that's just one example. Rich people, we could lend them money as well, right? And we can invite them over. We can be hospitable to them. We could be human beings. We could act compassionately towards them and do many other things, while donations truly go to people who don't have. And these three differences were important for me to show out, because if I had to put adding good on the realm of speaking well, of kind language, then obviously speaking well or taking care of our language comes on which side?
The left.
The left side, because
The benefaction.
it's not money. Even though sometimes people make a lot of money with their mouth, still it's speech. And speech, good actions in speech can really make a very big difference in life. And I would like to speak about that because this is what our lesson is about. I also like the picture that I found here because if I might show you, it has a flower made of money, which I thought was extremely appropriate. And I will move on to the next one. Okay, so how do we add good? I'm sure that we all have tons of great ideas about how to make our world a better place. I would like to divide it into 3 and to talk a little bit about every aspect. And I keep on saying this in every lesson, that we divide our being, our human existence into 3 parts. We have thoughts, speech, and action. And if thoughts are the inner part of our being, actions are our most outer part of the body of the being, and the middle part is the speech. It connects the thoughts and the actions. Because as we know, when people talk a lot but don't do too much, it's not very appreciated. Or is it? You know what I mean? Oh, I could do this and I could do that, and yeah, right. But when someone actually goes and does, we realize the difference between speech and action. So we are in the mode of doing good now. Okay, we want to add good, and let's see how in 3 different realms we could go about with our mouth and work on making this world a better place. So let's go to the first stage, which would be the thoughts, our thoughts. Is it big enough? Should I make it bigger? Do you see what it says? Okay, wait, I'm gonna make it tiny. So we have a scenario that somebody, let's take a scenario where someone says something that's that would be considered bad speech, bad talk. Okay, and it went in from here, and now it's sitting in here, and we're processing it. Okay, there are a few things that we could do. We could think about it, we could talk out it immediately, or we could do something about this information that came in from here.
Yeah.
So what are the thought processes that would go in that would help this world become a better place? Would you like to give me some of your own ideas before I go into what it says?
Yeah, not thinking about yourself, thinking about the other person. Because we sort of have this idea of if we think about ourselves, we're thinking me all the time. And it's about what we can grab. And it's this thing about what you would call ego gratification. It's just sort of gratifying ourselves and looking after our own needs and forgetting to go outwards, if you see what I mean.
So if I understand, you're saying when I hear this information about another person, make sure that I'm thinking about him.
Yes. Yes.
This is what we spoke about last time, that there's a person standing in front of me. He's the me. He is for himself what I am for myself. It's a person that's standing there and someone is talking about him.
Yeah.
To give him the respect of a person. Thank you. That is very good. Any other ideas?
One of them might be that to stop and think before you speak, to see if you are actually hurting anyone, or to see if you're slightly wrong on it.
Very good. Very good.
I totally agree, Mike. Totally agree with that. That's a big one. Also, like when you're hearing the bad and then how do you put that into a good speech? How do you take the bad part and create it back into good without hurting that person? It's sometimes that's a hard call because your reaction is no like your reaction right away. But then I just take a step back and then think, okay, how can you take that, whether it is a judgment against somebody or or a rumor, or how do you take it and turn it around? And there is always a way.
That's
It's
very
just
special, Kirsten.
you just have to be with it.
It comes with practice.
So practice, yes, exactly.
It's like a boomerang. You know, there's a
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
method in psychology that when someone says something to you, you repeat what they say. Did you ever hear of that?
Yes.
I'm so angry with you. Oh, I understand that you're very angry with me. Right? You didn't add anything. You're just saying what he said. No, I'm not angry with you. I mean, I'm angry at what, you know, so then it's a certain way of clarifying, you know, letting him hear what he said. So by doing what you're saying, is that you're trying to dig down deep into what he's saying.
Yeah.
And trying to understand something that maybe can clarify or change or alter what he said and bring it back in a better light. Wow, pretty
Would
good.
that be something like diplomacy and tact?
Absolutely.
You have to learn these things. It is not something you do automatically. It's something you actually got to think about and learn.
I think that we even recognize those people who do that well and authentically, not just like fake, but who know how to do that. And you really understand there's something basic inside them that really sees the good, that sees the kind, and they're able to go beyond the words. It's something very rare and wonderful about people. I would like
But
to do that.
I don't think you should feel too despondent if you're not sort of like a gregarious type of person. I think we all have skills, positive and negative, really, the way in which we conduct our lives. You know, somebody could be better at something than somebody else. And so we...
Yes, I agree with you. But I also think that it's something that we can learn. Something
Yes.
we can strive to and become better at, hopefully, with practice. Okay. Anybody would like to add something? So maybe we can go down to what I wrote down and see if we spoke about all these things.
Okay.
So let's say somebody says something, or I want to say something. The first point I brought up was to be kind and objective when I'm judging. Okay, let's say, oh, she made the stain on the rug. Okay, Dara did that. So first of all, I'm gonna try to think to myself, okay, there's a stain, and I hear that she did this. Maybe she had a reason. Maybe she really had to get somewhere really important right away before any accidents happened or anything, and she had no time to do anything for that. So just trying to think, how would I like to be judged if I messed up? Would I prefer being judged harshly, or would I appreciate someone trying to think and dig into my motives a little bit more on the kind part and try to judge me? And our sages tell us that when a good person does something bad and the rumor comes out about it, don't think about him. Judge him to the good, because he probably repented. He probably knew he did something wrong, and he already probably said, I'm sorry to Hashem, to God, and he is clean again. So don't judge him for the bad, because he was sorry for what he did. He's a righteous person. He's a kind person. And if there's a way to judge him to good, do it. That's what you have to do. You can't judge him for the bad, because he already is sorry for what he did. He's a righteous person. That's the way to judge a righteous person. If it's a medium person that sometimes does good and sometimes does bad, and you can find something good to judge him for, give it one little, maybe that there was a reason to do that well, judge him to good. That's the way you would want to be judged. Therefore, that's the way you should judge him. Yes.
What if you just don't judge the person at all, but judge the act that they do?
That's good. I personally didn't mean specifically to judge the person, but the act that was done. So,
you understand that people make mistakes and just judge the mistake rather than the person that's made the mistake.
Correct. But even when you're judging the mistake that was made, maybe it's saying, oh, he did that deliberately, or he's such a mean guy to do that, or he's doing that again to get me angry, or just to say, happens, or to say he probably had a good reason for it. I don't know the
Yeah.
whole story. Okay,
Yeah.
so there are different ways of going about interpreting the action.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one would be the nature of rumors. Oh, you think Dara did that? How do you know Dara did that? Oh, so Shifra told you that Dara did that. Did you actually see this, or is this just something that you heard? Oh, Shifra didn't see it either. So she heard it. So it wasn't Dara, it was something very close to it. Or some rumors have a way of rolling about and changing. When I was young, there was this game that we used to play. I used to whisper something into my friend's ear. We were sitting in a circle. And then she used to say what she heard from me, and everyone's giggling already. And by the last person, it's like giraffe. Like, what do you mean giraffe? I said encyclopedia. And everyone goes backwards saying what he heard. And it comes out something like, okay, it's totally different. So rumors have this way of changing. And many times if you check back, you see that things have gone wrong in the information cycle. We see that in newspapers, we see it many times. So
would you say another word for rumors would be gossip?
Yes. Yes.
And the important thing to remember about gossip, though, is to just not take any notice of it. Just acknowledge that you've heard it from the person, but not actually take any notice.
Okay.
That's the only way to defeat it, I think.
Okay, but sometimes the gossip could be important, and we spoke about that as well. We will mention it again. So that's the nature of rumors, that we have believing but not passing on. So let's say there's a gossip going around, okay, about, let's take something really bad, about a person who's offending young children.
Yeah.
Okay, a grown-up who is disturbing young children. And it's just a gossip. Somebody's talking about this, or the mothers are talking about this in the park while their kids are playing around. So that there's this person here, and he's, now let's say I know this person.
Yeah.
So should I be kind and objective? Should I think of the nature of the rumors? But this is not something I could be very laid back about. I have little kids. I have a responsibility. What do I do with this? I don't know. The person who said it heard it from other people. So they don't know about it for sure. And even if I want to be kind, I have to be wary. I have to make sure that my kids are safe. But there's a difference between knowing something, knowing it for sure as a fact, or hearing about it.
Right.
So what the Torah tells us is that keep this piece of information over here, keep it in mind, but don't pass it on.
That's right.
If you don't know it for sure, if you didn't see it with your own eyes, if you are not 100% sure that this person did an act that is not to be done, and that he knows that it shouldn't be done, and that you warned him not to do it, and that he went through all the processes of explaining and warning and everything else, keep it to yourself. Maybe there are other ways to go about doing it. There are other ways to solve the problem, but going on and talking about it, chit chat, talk, which many times doesn't help much. Okay, so another way to deal while it's still up here, the information came in, what do I do with it? Keep it in mind. Warn your children if you have to. Don't be next to this person. Keep away from him. Why, mommy? Because I said so. Okay, in any other way that doesn't add on to the talking. I'm telling you, and you have to listen. This is a case where you listen. Don't be next to this and this child, or don't go play in this neighborhood. Okay, the next stage was misunderstandings. Sometimes people say something that is misunderstood. Do we have that in life? Do we understand those situations? Have you ever been in a situation when you meant one thing, but someone understood something else? Would you care to share?
Yes, I was misunderstood, and 3 weeks later I got married. That was 30 odd years ago.
No way. No.
Good one, Mike.
Can't think offhand.
So I am going to actually turn off the light here. My lighting is going to be bad, but my battery is going bad as well. So I apologize for the bad lighting. My battery is a little bit more important. Okay. Would anyone like to add in?
I want to add something. Sometimes people, they become very judgmental very quick. For instance, when we are talking about, let's say politics, there are two different opinions.
Oh, yeah.
But one side, let's say I don't like one thing about one side, but I like 99% of everything. And I happen to make a comment in a group environment, the point that I don't like about that party. Next thing you know, everybody all of a sudden assumes that I belong to the other party that I don't like 99%.
Right. Assuming
So
is another big deal. Right.
This kind of misunderstandings sometimes happens. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have to take in mind when we hear something that is just, it goes to the bad side of things because we're talking about bad language. So when we hear something bad, we have to take into consideration that we might have misunderstood everything that the person said. Okay, we want to think that. We want to think that. This is something bad I heard. Ouch. It can't be. I must have misunderstood him. I'm not talking about, again, we're grown-ups. We have responsibilities. I'm not talking about closing our eyes to things that are really important and to overlooking cases that could harm anybody. But if we hear things, small things about people around us that we could judge in a bad way or in a good way, let's do this. Let's go for changing society and giving them the benefit of doubt. Let's not judge them. Let's say maybe I misunderstood what she said. I don't know. Maybe she meant something good. Maybe it can't be that she said something like that. I must have misunderstood her. Okay, that's the state of mind I want to teach myself.
It may be a case that you've not practically totally misunderstood. It's that you may have misheard or not even heard the full story.
Absolutely.
And so your mind is leaping ahead to make the connections which aren't there. And again, it comes back to you should think before you speak.
Very good. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the last one is correct planning. And somebody said that before. I think it was Angelica saying, think before you answer. Or you said just now, think before you answer. Plan. What's happening in my head? Think. Be aware of the processes that you're going through when you hear this. So when you are listening to talk that is bad talk, start the wheels going. What am I doing with this? I'm not judging. I must have probably misheard or misunderstood, or maybe it's not, it's just a rumor people are talking. They didn't really see the right thing. The Torah tells us a story about a person walking out or running out of a house with a knife in his hand. Blood is smeared all over him and it's dripping blood from the knife. You're not allowed to assume that this person is the murderer.
That's right.
You're not allowed to say this is the person who killed. There's a dead man in there and I saw him running out with a knife and blood. He did it. No, maybe he was the one to try to save him. He was the one who tried to pull it out and save his life. So if you didn't see it with your own eyes and you don't have the whole story there, you cannot judge him. And that really takes us aback. It takes us far away saying, give this person the benefit of the doubt. Don't judge him. Okay? Right. We're talking much less than knives and blood, God forbid. Okay. So
in English, it's a thing we say on that is engage brain before you engage your mouth. Yeah, which is the same thing.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so that would be the thought process. So now we went through the thoughts and now we have to comment. It's our turn to comment. Someone just told us, do you know that the teacher of this, of our kids' classroom told one of the kids that da-da-da-da-da. So we thought about all these processes. Maybe the kid didn't say something correct. Maybe he misheard. Maybe he told his friend told his mother, the mother told bad information. Okay, we went through all that in our heads. And now she's waiting for me to say something back. What am I going to say? Right? This is the speech part.
The best way to handle that is to acknowledge that you've heard it, but not give an opinion.
So you're saying, like somebody said before, like the boomerang thing. I hear that that this is what people are talking about.
Yes, but not have any interest in it, but just take it on board and show and say, "Oh, really? Thank you for telling me that."
Okay, so the teacher broke a ruler on the hand of the child because he came in late to class. Thank you for telling me that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Any other ideas? Thank you.
If he broke a ruler on the child's hand, what was the child doing to deserve it?
You're saying humor.
Yeah, you've got to look at it both ways.
Okay. So because we're running short on time, we have 2 more minutes to finish. I will probably finish this issue next week. Next week is our last week together.
Okay.
And what comes later, I don't know, but I would always be happy to answer any questions or anything that comes up after the last session. Let's just finish up the speech. We have 1 more minute, and then and we will leave the action part for next time and the rest of the slideshow. So we try, number 1, try not to add fire. What do I mean by adding fire? It's like, oh, well, I'll tell you what she did the week before. The week before she broke that, she did this and this and that. Or, you know, just adding a comment, or even the word very. When someone tells you she's mean, oh yes, she's very mean. The word very could be, you know, if someone said that about you, how would you feel if someone added on very? She's forgetful. Oh yes, she's very forgetful. Thank you very much. Don't add fire. Like you say, accept the information, maybe repeat it. Make a face of, I don't know, that would be the action already. Try to be an advocator. Maybe she didn't mean it. Maybe she was trying to hand it to him. Maybe it was an old ruler. Maybe, try to find a good reason for it. I wonder what the kid did to deserve such a thing. You know, anything that can be switching the situation from good to bad. Change the subject. Oh, you're talking about rulers? I have the best ruler you've ever seen. It's this amazing thing that can come. I'll show you the new ruler I have. Yes. Angelica, did you want to say something? I'm sorry. I thought maybe. Okay. Sorry. Trying to change the subject in a good way is also quite an act of experience to learn how to do these things correctly without making, a scene of it. And then keep secrets. Yeah. Keeping secrets is a really good quality to have. When people know that they can talk to you, they can trust you. Anything you say stays with you, confidential. You are a very special person when you have other people's lives installed within you, and you get their trust. Anytime a person trusts me and speaks to me, I really feel that it's a privilege. It's not something that is self-understood, that a person opens up to me and speaks to me. I always thank him for it, and I appreciate it, and I guard it. And I remember once a situation when a very dear person mentioned something in the family. Apparently, it was something he wasn't supposed to mention. And the person who that piece of information belonged to him said to this person, to the speaker, I'm not important to you enough. If I was really important to you, you wouldn't have said that. It was a harsh thing to say, but it stunk down, because when it's important to you to be confidential, it's an amazing quality to have about ourselves. So I will leave you with that thought about being a confidential person, and finding, maybe during the week, you can work on finding pieces of information that are interesting, that are fun to share, that would be making you the center of conversation if you let out that little piece of information that someone trusted you with. And being able to try to indulge in that feeling of having the power of wanting to talk, but holding back. Saying, no, I'm the king, and I'm going to control this. It's not going to control me. I am going to hold on to this piece of information, and that's my power. So much
Mm.
more than letting it out for a minute and being there as the center of attraction for 1 minute. By holding it in, you're a king.
Mm.
And I will thank all of you a lot for coming today. I enjoyed all of your comments, and I learned from them. And I will be very glad to see you next time, hopefully. Any questions? Anybody want to say something?
Mm.
Okay, then. Have a good week. Enjoy.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very
Bye,
much.
everyone.